sometimes I just want a face palm, I really do. Oh my giddy aunt, British immigrants living here in France who may just snuck in before the end of the transition period, you know, Brexit and all that, or whether they've been living here for years. Crikey, they're doing it all wrong. Now, let's say, for instance, they've bought themselves a renovation property here in France, or maybe they're a barn conversion or something at some point. That's likely they're going to need to get themselves some scaffolding. Now, here in France, they use like quick stage scaffold. You know, it's like a quick lock system. You know, all designated sections and stuff like that, and they just all like fit together. In the UK, we use 50mm steel tube scaffolding. Could be aluminium tube and clips. Lots of these flipping clips. Fine. It's a really great system if you know what you're doing. Now, I did my scaffolding portion of my MVQ 3, and okay, it wasn't the full-on, you know, I got no experience other than what I've done myself on site in the UK. That is, hence I've got a bit of scaffolding here that we occasionally put up for ourselves. But here in France, if you're a newbie to it, or even if you're an actual business, you're doing it for a customer, no, just don't do it. Really, just don't do it. You are really putting yourself at risk. Get yourself some French scaffolding, or get a scaffolding firm to do it for you. Now, is this English? I don't know, hang-ups from our past and stuff. Do we actually believe that the rules don't apply to us? Because they apply to the French, so why wouldn't they apply to us? Anyway. Now, the French rules, working at height, now a few years ago, before Brexit, were actually, about 2013, I think it was, were strengthened. They were made a lot tougher. Now, and that was before Brexit, so it's got nothing to do with Brexit, no. But I'll tell you what has got to do with it, since Brexit, is we stand out like a flippin' sore thumb, us Brits do. We are British immigrants living in France, we stand out like a sore thumb. And unfortunately, there isn't any like replacement Brits coming in to divert attention away from those who are already living here. No. So the French can point their finger and go, oh my God, what are they doing? Well, so the thing is though, you see, with this 50mm scaffolding, or the 50mm tubes and what have you, isn't recognised in here in France because they don't use it here, generally. No. So this guy with his truck, with all the scaffolding tubes on the back of this truck and what have you, we call it scaffold truck because it's basically got all the LDs and what have you all stacked up and clipped into place and what have you, so you can stack all the tubes in and what have you, in boxes of clips and stuff. He was a nice guy. He was a nice guy, but I was thinking, oh, you shouldn't have been doing that before Brexit, let alone after Brexit. You know, it's just the thing you see. But the thing is, in France, you see, there is no product safety directive on scaffolding at all in France. There isn't. But there is a non-compulsory standards that you're supposed to abide by. You know, it's basically just, you know, it's not necessarily law, but you're supposed to do it. But this is where the complication comes in, you see. When you do anything in France, everything is insured. You have to insure everything. Now, as a builder, you'd have what you call a decennial insurance. It's like a 10-year insurance policy. But also, it's like public liability and stuff. You've got to have all those insurance policies you've got to have in place. But the stuff you're using must comply. And what do they use? As far as scaffolding is concerned, I've had this confirmed, they use the non-compulsory standards for scaffolding. This guy ain't insured. He isn't insured. If someone falls off that flipping scaffold, whether the scaffolding's good or not, the first thing they're going to ask is, does it comply? And no, it doesn't. In their minds, as far as the insurance company is concerned, legally, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. No. Unless you decide to use different, well, a mixed scaffolding. Let's say if you're using some quick stage stuff and then you're using a 50mm tube with it or something like that, and you've got this hodgepodge going on, and then somebody hurts themselves, you're going to jail. That literally states that. You're going to jail. It is a custodial sentence, not just for the scaffolder, for the person hiring the scaffolder. And then whoever gets hurt, see the bloody kajibas out and you lose your house. Because you're not covered. You won't be covered, so just don't do it. Just use stuff that's here, quick stage or what have you. Especially if you've got contractors coming in to do your roof or what have you, and you're supplying the scaffolding. It's just dangerous, isn't it? It's really dangerous. There's other silly little, I say silly things like, in France, for instance, the scaffolding has to be within 20 centimetres from the wall. You can't have a one great gap between the scaffolding and the wall. So if your walls are doing all this, you're going to have to make allowances for that. So you've got to be 20 centimetres or under 20 centimetres away from the wall. And also, if the scaffolding's over, it's not quite unlikely for most people, if the scaffolding's over 24 metres in height, you've got to have all your calculations all set out. You've got to be able to prove all your calculations, you see. Yet again, 50mm scaffolding doesn't apply. You know, that's a problem with us Brits. We think, I'll tell you what, actually, I shall backtrack on that a little bit. I'll tell you what I think it is it's comfort. Comfort. And what I mean by that is there's many Brits living here, what have you. My French is terrible. You know, I manage, put it like that. I really struggle with my hearing and not hearing. I just can't pronounce certain words. I just feel I'm spitting at everybody. And it makes me very embarrassed, and I kind of then I don't try hard enough. It's my own fault. I'm stupid like that. My dear wife, she struggles because she can't hear anything. So that doesn't help her, does it? And but what I think it is that a little bit is like ghettoism. So people want to be in their little bubble, so to speak, with people that they communicate with and they feel comfortable with. I'll be absolutely honest with you, I feel more comfortable with the French these days. I'll be absolutely honest with that. But you get into that kind of like a little safe space, and they venture. Oh, speak English. We'll hire him because he's speaking English. Half the time, these people aren't even qualified to do the job they're saying they're doing. I see it so often. We call them the P&O ferries. That's what they got. P&O ferry qualifications is what they got. And it isn't just about qualifications, whether the people have got time on the tools, you know. Whether they've got experience, it's not whether or not you just got a ticket, it's whether or not you know what you're doing. Now, somebody mentioned in the comments on a previous video I put up, the one I put on this morning actually, and they said to me, well, you know as well as I do, Marcus, that you know, to be a good, decent bricklayer, it takes 10 years. It does, because it's a mechanical skill. It's about repetition and stuff, you see. And you're snaking the old mortar and what have you on your board and chuck on the brick and then button up the other ends of the bricks or blocks. You know, it's a skill. It's a hell of a skill. And it's all, you know, the mix and what have you, it's got to be nice and, you know, nice and buttery. fatty mortar, or muck as we call it. But it's it takes time. It don't happen overnight. You don't get that on the P&O ferries either. They don't provide those sort of qualifications. So you get somebody come over here and they think, oh, I've renovated my own house and now I'm qualified. And they do a bit of work because they run out of money. And yet again, you get those individuals who are in their own little bubble. Oh, speaks English. Who's a builder? Is he? Oh, they might have met him in the brick and marche or something. It's just mind-boggling, you know. And they get caught out. I've had to do so many remedial works here in France. Whether it be from plumbing to carpentry to stonework and what have you, roofing, toile, you know, all that stuff. I've pretty much everything. And one of the ones that really stands out to me is when I had to go and do a job for somebody. And so our shower doesn't run away properly. It gurgles and does all sorts of silly stuff. And what has this person done? There's a beam, a square beam, right? A big old oak beam. There's all been furring pieces on the top, what have you, to level the floor and then the plasterboard and stuff. Anyway, I found out, I traced the pipe back to this flipping beam. And what they do? They went 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, and 90 degree. They went up and over the beam. Well, water don't flow uphill unless it's been pushed. Oh. This guy was apparently a builder, did a renovation property. It's just mind-numbing, it is. just get the right people to do the job, and that includes scaffolding. So if you are going to use scaffolding, have your own safety's sake and insurance, your insurance, don't take risks with people's lives for start. You know, get the right stuff and just do a proper job. Or go up there yourself and don't expect anyone else to. But it doesn't make any difference if obviously if that guy shouldn't even be doing it, because it's not what we do here. We use quick stage and quick lock. Anyway, you tell me, maybe you come across a similar experience that maybe you made the same mistakes yourself. Yeah, I'm not pointing any fingers. Let us know in the comments down below. So yeah, I just find the whole thing flipping nuts. I could go on and on about this, you probably tell, can't you? But anyway, it's time for me to go, so ta-ta, you know. So ta-ta, thank you for watching. Please boot the old like button, because it, you know, helps the channel, you know. And also, if you want to support the channel, you can do that on Patreon or buy us a coffee. There's also memberships as well, and which I am putting bits and pieces up there for that. And yeah, it's very much appreciated. It really is, because I couldn't do the channel without your support. I really couldn't. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please comment down below and boot the old like button. Ta-ta.